somebody said that I've got many snails as like pests in my farm. So the answer that the original author, I forgot his name, gave was, you do not have snail problem or you do not have pest problem, you have duck deficiency. So if the pests are bothering you, snails or whatever, then you are not understanding the food chain, food web part of ecology. So you recreate or reorganize the ecological connections, food chain and food webs, the way the native ecosystem had. We do pesticides. We have a whole global industry doing pesticides. And permaculture, though the limitation of permaculture is mass production requires a lot of input. And because we need to feed more mouth more quickly, we are dependent upon industrial agriculture. And the more, and India is especially suitable for permaculture because it has small land holdings. Generationally, one farm is divided into 4 sons or 2 sons and then further on. So parcels are becoming smaller and therefore it becomes unviable. That is where the cooperative model comes into picture. That small owners can have small farm holdings, but they need to create a cooperative and adopt permaculture approaches.
I'd like to now invite Shivani Malapuri, founder of Vishwa, to initiate the Q&A session. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Shishir Ravalji. That was a wonderful talk. At a time when the country is getting polarized at a very fast pace, at a time when we have wars and the entire environment, the entire globe, citizens getting polarized and pushing towards a lot of emotions and possibly strong actions that will work towards it. Coming up with such a talk, the importance of it, the concept is very essential. And we are able to give this message only to a few people, but it needs to be spread much more. I thank all the audience for taking the time to understand the gravity of the situation, to take time to listen to views, better views, to make our lives sustainable and the world's life sustainable. Thanks so much. Thanks, Shrishant, for such a wonderful talk, and to the Vishwa team for such a wonderful talk. With this, I will go into the Q&A session. Mr. Shmuel, would you like to ask your question? Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much on very interesting and insightful presentation. And I want to ask you a question. How, according to your opinion, ecologies and ecological systems can support resolution problems of poverty and problems of food insecurity?
It is you covered everything, I think. Well, let us start with, there are 2 ways to look at it. One is, let us start with what I can do today, but also let us start with what the system I'm part of can do today. You actually you can perhaps answer your own question better than I can. But my position is that I'm an educator and I'm a professional landscape architect, ecological planner. So my way of looking at possible ways to address food scarcity or wars or whatever comes from this kind of seeds related perspective. It is not one particular thing that we can choose, but yes, individuals can choose what they want to do. Systems, organizations, governments need to look at this whole picture together, and part to whole and whole to part, bottom up as well as top down. Both approaches are necessary.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Vasant, please come unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you very much. Shishir sir, you have done a wonderful job. You are an educator, you are a thinker, and you are a man with a future vision. But unfortunately, as you have rightly said, what is your self? You asked for that question. What I say is, I'm not what you are not what I am. So somewhere in between, we will have to meet. So that is one of the things. And my question is, what is your advice to the irrational behavior of our advanced countries? Because being made to pay for the enjoyment of a certain set of people who are enjoying their life to the hilt, whereas many other underdeveloped or developing countries, they are finding it very difficult to have a hand-to-mouth living condition. And these climate changes are and vagaries of climate are playing havoc with us. What kind of a string you would like to tie them up? Thank you.
Very good question. I will answer your question just in a minute. I just want to clarify my position about labeling countries, developed countries, developing countries, etc. In my opinion, every country, just like an organism, is developing. There is no these are the boundaries that we created for economic reasons, for funding and for grants and for playing big brother and whatnot. A small country, a poor country like Chad in Africa, can teach so much to my current state in North Carolina, in USA. So it is not about what they are developed in some different way. Economically advanced countries are developed in some other ways. So that is one clarification. But coming back to your question,
what is your advice?
My advice, I'm nobody to advise anybody. I mean, you are.
No, all of us are equal partners.
Yeah, we are all equal, and you are also
beings.
a very learned person. I can see that, and you're put the finger on the right thing here, in the sense that how can we address this particular issue, or what should I say, a wicked problem,
Rationality.
not simple problem. So let us start. Let me give you one or two advice or one or two suggestions to whoever is willing to listen outside our current webinar. I believe that first start with empathy. Don't start with reaction. I believe that current leaders, whichever country that you kind of do not like or whatever disagree with, send them good vibes. I, for example, pray that please give Sadbuddhi to all the leaders and their advisors. That is, they are also human beings. They also have drawbacks. They also have other things that we all carry. They are not superhumans. They just have superpositions. And that too with some kind of means that are not scrupulous. So let us first start with empathy, in my opinion, and let us acknowledge that they are also human beings. And internally, we can just pray for them so that they can achieve some kind of wisdom, sadbuddhi, and all that. That is not going to lead us anywhere. That is just like in the air. So the second part, all four of us who are visible on the screen right now have an organization, have some entity that we are associating with. What is it that about that entity that we can reflect upon first, discuss, identify, prioritize, get resources necessary for making changes, and then do the pilot, do the pre-testing. So this is a more elongated project, but from my practice to our practice, we can move that way. And then not every country, and voting is not actually the right way to, voting is as I said, democracy is the most acceptable form of governance. In my opinion, the most acceptable form of governance is benevolence dictatorship, because we have reached such a stage where just my effort or my prayers, just institutional organizational prayers, is not going to work. We need a system change in governance, the top down, where benevolent dictatorship, so to say, quote unquote. For example, why do we, when people from India or from other countries go to Singapore and then they get, oh my gosh, what a country, why it is so clean, why it is so systematically working, even though it is the small dot in the Malaysian peninsula right there at the bottom. Why? Because they have a system which is benevolent dictatorship and strict democracy. So at three levels, we can begin to think about this. That is my long and short answer for the time being. You may agree or disagree with it.
No. It's perfectly all right. Time will tell the future.
Yeah, and we just have to hope.
You have rightly pointed out that we are borrowing the resources of the future generations and making our life that much comfortable. Tomorrow they will curse us. That's what will happen. Thank you, sir. Kind of you. Thank you, Shivani. Thank you, Tushant. Nice. I have never missed Vishwa Talks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, sir.
Mr. Rohit Prajapati, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, excellent presentation in terms of many conceptual points which we need to understand. I just want to add one point in terms of philosophy. We need to have also class perspective, caste perspective, gender perspective, ethnicity perspective, keeping in mind religion also. is a very crucial component when we talk about the philosophy. I'll just give you one example when the word colony was used, and we thought in terms of country only. But if you read the book of Maria Miss, she made a point. It's a women the last colony still exists because she brought in the feminist dimension. So in that sense, we have to bring this perspective on all such issue. Otherwise, we will not able to make intervention and we will not able to give justice to our intervention.
I agree. And though I have not explicitly touched upon it, I'm not defending my presentation. What you just suggested, Rohit Bhai, is something that is not only part of ethics, but also part of systems and also part of self. That at each level, this ethnic and religious and gender issues need to be acknowledged first and then responded to. Thank you for being here, Rohit Bhai.
Thank you for joining us. It's a great privilege to see you here.
He is in complete bed rest and still he is here.
Yes.
Thank you. He's from Vadodara, our home city.
He's a very popular activist and environmentalist here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Unmute yourself, please.
Okay,
Yes.
so my question is, what can urban planners and architects learn from landscape designers in addressing sustainability? And which one element of landscape architecture education should be made compulsory in the architectural curriculum for sustainable future?
Just have our own webinar, our own Gmeet for that. Are you a student of design related field?
No, I am currently pursuing geography honors from Delhi University.
I got highest mark in geography in my final class, whole time SSC, 11th grade in my whole high school. And that is why I'm a landscape architect also. Well, part of the answers are given to you in my presentation, what we need to focus on, right? So geography is a great discipline. Geography is the foundation for understanding planet Earth, both the physical geography and the cultural geography. And when we understand geography, and when a geographer becomes a planner, for example, pursues a planning degree at master's level, I've seen it because I was teaching in a Master of Urban Planning program when I was in India. So we have students from architecture, engineering, economics, and geography. And you can see very easily that a person from economics thinks differently and he talks about demographics, numbers, whereas a geography person is kind of the minority, the one or two students in the class of 20 or so, and he is keeping quiet. He is feeling uncertain whether she or he could voice the geography perspective into the planning profession. So first and foremost, as my natural system diagram was presenting, understand how natural system works. That is the first thing. I'm not going to back to my slide to show you the natural system diagrams, but that is, and within the natural system diagram, if you look at from the bottom, climate, geology, they are the slowly changing variables. They do not change very much. Then landform, the form of, because of the interaction of these two, the landform. Then the landform and these three interact together to create surface and subsurface water system. Then these four interact together, they create inert soil. The soil has to wait now. Billions of years ago, it was largely inert soil or lava. All these five things interact together, create possible life. Yuval Noah Harari put in his first page of his book, Sapiens, talks about physics, chemistry, biology, physics, chemistry, and therefore biology, physics, chemistry, biology, and therefore history. And he's a scholar in history, writes about the planet Earth and sapiens. So if you understand this relationship and the interactions, that is the science of ecology. That is the first step. Ethics is important. For ethics, I said, leave development suitable area undeveloped. That is an ethical, moral stand I can make, a policymaker can make, a politician can make, so that future generations have their options open for their decisions and their development. Right now, we are developing as if the current society is the only society we need to serve. They do make projections of populations, but the ill-defined and ill-conceived development that we see all around us doesn't respect neither population data nor understands duality and non-duality. Nothing. It just understands greed, or it is based on ignorance and arrogance. So planning students should be doing that. Architecture students, I was teaching landscape architecture to BR architecture students a lot. And the two things that two or three things that I emphasized according to my growth in this field since 1975 is that each architect should know how the land works, what are the flows on the land, what are the forms of the land, and that is the minimum a building architecture student should learn. Second, experience. What makes you stop? What part of the site calls you? The experiential quality. If the architecture students learn this in terms of spatial organization and sequencing of the unfolding of the experience, that is enough at the BArt level. They do not need to learn plants, draw plants, and list all these copy paste things. So a lot of things can be discussed, but this is the shortest answer I can give you right now. I hope it answers your query. And wonderful to have you here. And thanks for your question. You can unmute.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, excellent presentation. Thank you very much for enlightening us. I have also been working on this. My introduction is that I'm an engineer by profession, but I have specialization in sustainability, and I have been working on sustainable future as one of the themes under which I have taken up the Northeast. I want to know whether you've done something on that area in Northeast, and especially on the biodiversity and the ethnic knowledge solutions which are available, which the current traditional tribes have been really practicing.
Right. No, that is an amazingly complex area. That is not complex or diverse, I should say. Geographically diverse, culturally immense. I think it is one of the hotspots of cultural diversity.
That's right.
In India, let alone biodiversity. So my interaction with or my connection with Northeast is tenuous. It is only through one or two instances of interacting with students. I'm not very proud to confess that I have not entered the Northeast yet, but I will enter. I will visit that someday. I want to visit that someday. And the answer is this. First, I talked about my limitations. Now I'm giving you the possible answer. Latitude is the key helper for you.
Okay.
So identify the most latitude of the northeast and the topmost latitude of northeast, सिक्किम से लेकर नीचे तक जो मिजोरम के जो कुछ भी साउथ का जो स्टेट है वहां तक का आप लेटीट्यूड देखो और वो लेटीट्यूड के वो पूरी दुनिया में घूमो because that latitude climate, that latitude is going to give you case studies. Find case studies within that latitude which has similar altitudes or landform variations.
Right.
And which has cultural diversity. So don't look too much outside in the World Wide Web. पहले define करो कहाँ आपको case study. So this is the best way to define one of the better ways to define where you can identify relevant information, because latitude and altitude are the two basic things. As I said, natural system diagram, climate, geology, landform, water, soil, and so on. So that is one answer. The second answer is when you can think about particular project, look into the local universities and colleges.
Right.
Because that is where a biologist or a geologist or a sociologist is most familiar with and would be the most helpful person to you. I am waiting for the bioengineer here.
Yeah.
I would like to call you not. I would like to suggest first of all, before you say anything, to change your title to eco-engineer.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Sir, I'm very happy, sir, today because I'm interacting different people.
May I know your name, please?
Krishna, sir. Krishna.
Krishna.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Thank you. I'm from Hyderabad, sir, Telangana. Actually, my father is a farmer. I'm professionally, I'm a bioprocess engineer, with 21 years experience, as well as I'm a social engineer. From the past 6 years onwards, I'm working on the different activities. So basically, I'm very happy today because I'm going to conduct a seed campaign in Hyderabad, which will be helping this session very much because the entire presentation I was watching and I was taking the screenshots, everything what you are saying, I'm going through that. That is very helpful. God given me this opportunity, taking these notes and everything. And
do you have any specific question?
Yeah, and basically, I'm going to do some seed campaigns. So, like, I need some sort of guidance, like what type of seed campaign, how it should be impactful. Will you please suggest me some?
Right. Just a minute, because I need to. There is an excellent person in India. I'm trying to find out his. Just a minute, I'm trying to find out his name here. Oops. Anyway, he is an agro engineer, and he is collecting seeds, original seeds from different parts of India, and he's based in Bengaluru. And what I'm saying is that it is something that if I can find, oh God, why? I'll just give you, then I'll send the organizer the link also.
Okay, sir.
And Prabhakar Rao is his name.
Okay.
Dr. Prabhakar Rao,
Okay, sir.
Seeds and Bengaluru. If you just write these three things in Google, and he runs an organization called Haryali Seeds.
Okay.
Haryali Seeds.
Haryali Seeds.
And he is affiliated with Sri Ravi Shankar also. So he does a lot of projects, campaigns on farming and seed collection and all kinds of things. So I think whatever I know about India, there are so many other things. Vandana Shiva's organization in Dehradun. Vandana Shiva is a great author. And Navdanya, Navdanya, something like that. Navdanya is the name of the organization. And she is that organization is another resource for seeds related activities and for green, whatever, quote unquote, sustainable farming and all that. So these are the two people you Google: Vandana Shiva, Shiva, Navdanya, and Dr. Prabhakar Rao and Haryali Seeds, Bengaluru.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, sir.
I appreciate, and I wish you all the best for your work.
This talk, I'm going to start this, sir, with the great energy. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
You also are giving me energy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I just wanted to understand certain things about where activism is heading in terms of, at least in India, because while we are talking about Aravalis or anything like that, you see a majority of people who are saying no to any kind of hyper materialistic urbanization. But at the same time, there are people who are saying, we need development. What are you talking about? You should go to some other country if you need develop this thing. So how do you, because I personally see myself as a pest living on a massive being. I see sun also as a being, Aditya, Surya, whatever. But I see the sun as a being. I see ourselves living on a being. There are some pests that are good for the land, just like in farming. And there are some pests which are just digging, using, whatever. So how do I convey, because I actively talk on social media or anything in the comment section of many different protest campaigns, how do you deal with such people? How do you tell them the value of, say, development and survival of the species altogether?
Shant, you are speaking on behalf of, I think, 99% of people of India. Those who are educated, those who speak different languages, those who are uneducated, everybody. Because this is a dilemma not only limited to the boundaries of India, this is a dilemma also in all other so-called countries, all ecoregions of the world. But in some places, the palpability of the issue is like in your face, like day in, day out. Every hour you are inside the home or outside the home, it is like hitting you, banging you. So the gravity felt by different individuals is different based on their background and based on the external force that is causing them this kind of thoughts. My thing is that there is something called serenity prayer, right? You must have read that. It says something like, God, give me the courage for the things I can change, something to, and the wisdom to, and the courage to things I can change, the acceptance to things I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference. So that is one way to look at it. That when I'm facing the dilemma or this kind of stress and empathy also at the same time, how do I deal with it? So we have to decide what we can deal with. So build your courage, build your internal system to do what you can, and learn to let go. Shavasana is one of the practices that is about letting go. And it is not easy. It is one. My yoga teacher one day told me that the most difficult asana is what? And we said different names, and he said Savasana. Because it is not about physical body movement, it is about mind movement. It is about letting go. So that is one level of answer. The second level of answer is more important, or relevant, I should say, not important. Choose one domain. Either choose awareness and be at it, or choose advocacy, devote more time to it, or choose alternatives and devote more time to it. because action and reflections are possible in all these three domains. Within these domains, like awareness, advocacy, or alternatives, choose a sector. For example, you are with hospitality sector. Within the hospitality sector, you know what you can do and what you cannot do for awareness, for advocacy, for alternatives. And within that sector, you have a scale. You can choose. Sometimes you can be at a higher scale where you can attend the conferences of hoteliers and all that, but come back to your kitchen and see at that scale what can be done. So that is something that we all need to accept and realize first. Before we accept, we have to acknowledge first that these are the things that we are dealing with. That is why they are called wicked problems. There is no one single answer. But there are possible answers and there are inspirations, there are case studies, there are resource people and resource institutions, there are tools and strategies. So, as I talked to that other lady in the Northeast, build your network and be choosy about where. I'm no one to give you advice. I also scroll the screen, look at the Instagram posts, share them, all kinds of things. This I call an electronic leash.
Yes, it is.
It is a leash tied to us. Somebody pulls us, and we allow ourselves to be pushed. So identify different leashes, whether they are our own weaknesses or whether they are external forces, and see where we can make little change day by day.
So I have a question from a guest. Can you talk a bit about regenerative landscaping and permaculture? How it's stealing the show these days?
Regenerative is a great word. Permaculture is also a very good system of agriculture that is understanding the ecological connections. I'm glad the person didn't ask me about Miyawaki forest, because that's what I like some aspects of it, but I don't subscribe to Miyawaki approach that is being largely followed by CSR related funding, and then immediately, bam, I've done this Miyawaki forest. So that is another thing. But yes, the best way to describe permaculture is to somebody said that I've got many snails as like pests in my farm. So the answer that the original author, I forgot his name, gave was, you do not have snail problem or you do not have pest problem, you have duck deficiency. So if the pests are bothering you, snails or whatever, then you are not understanding the food chain, food web part of ecology. So what is the word? Recreate or reorganize the ecological connections, food chain and food webs, the way the native ecosystem had. There are things that we do not, we do pesticides. We have a whole global industry doing pesticides. And permaculture, though the limitation of permaculture is mass production requires a lot of input. And because we need to feed more mouth more quickly, we are dependent upon industrial agriculture. And the more, and India is especially suitable for permaculture because it has small land holdings. Generationally, one farm is divided into 4 sons or 2 sons, and then further on. So parcels are becoming smaller. And therefore, it becomes unviable. That is where the cooperative model comes into picture. That small owners can have small farm holdings, but they need to create a cooperative and adopt permaculture approaches. What was the other word he used? Permaculture and
Regenerative landscaping.
Oh, first of all, don't use the word landscaping. This is my general advice to all those who are, at least while talking with me. I'm not complaining to you, Trishant. I'm just saying that landscaping cheapens my beautiful discipline. You go and ask an interior designer that, are you interior decorating? And look at the face of that interior designer. I'm not decorating, I'm designing. Similarly, landscaping is what is like makeup, peripheral, superficial treatment that you give to create immediate beauty. Whereas landscape architecture and landscape design is working with the systems and land systems and ecology and cultural aspects and all that. So regenerative is about generating again. What are we generating again? What the system does normally, naturally. So regenerating is about creating conditions, abiotic conditions, so that regeneration of biotic factors come up. So whenever you think about biodiversity or regenerative landscape, think about that as that you have to first take care of abiotic factors, which are the 5 variables: the climate, latitudes, climate, altitude, वगैरह. Geology, understand geology because groundwater and all that, and seepages and all that. Landform, the slopes, water gathering and all that. Understand all those things. And then make conducive conditions so that biological regeneration happens the way nature has designed it.